Hey guys, you know me, I'm John Cullen, and today I'm going to be talking about why you should watch your language. So when I was in 6th grade at Parcells Middle School in Grosse Pointe, I joined a group called Peer to Peer. And that's an inclusion group that uses both general education students and special needs students, and it promotes inclusion, education, awareness, and helped me gain a better understanding of what the special needs community was like. So here's a picture of the class. As you can see, I'm in the middle in the red, looking good, surrounded by both general education students and special needs students. And through this program, I learned about a campaign called Spread the Word to End the Word. And that is it was promoted mostly by the Special Olympics, and it is a campaign to end the use of the word retard. So this kind of caught me off guard because through elementary school and early and middle school, I would use the word kind of as a normal insult or with friends. Like, I didn't realize how offensive it could be. Like, that's retarded, or stop being I didn't realize how bad it could be. And this opened me up to the idea that there are words that are seen as socially acceptable that are actually quite offensive and that should also be treated as swear words. So before I get into this, I want to talk about the traditional swear words that we all know. So first, in 1972, George Kaplan, in a monologue, he was a famous comedian, came up with the 7 dirty words that couldn't be used on TV. And I'm not going to repeat them for obvious reasons, but I'm sure all of you have either seen them or read them or heard them, and so on. And you know that it's not good to use these words, and that goes into the idea that swear words are cultural taboo, and this is seen in the idea of getting your mouth washed out by soap, if you've ever been threatened by that. I know some might have. Or getting yelled at by a teacher if you let a word slip in the cafeteria or during class. And even the National Education Association suggests the use of in-school suspensions for swearing, and that shows just how what a negative connotation swear words have and how people believe they should be treated. Another important part is the effect of words on people. So according to the humanrights.gov, the definition of bullying is people repeatedly using words or actions against someone to cause distress and risk to their well-being. And this just shows that words are just as harmful as actions, even though they might not have physical impact, they can have the emotional. And bullyingstatistics.org says that verbal abuse can lead to depression, self-esteem issues, and even severe cases, substance abuse and suicide. So the new swear words that I want to talk about. The first one, because I have a personal connection to it, is the word retard. Dictionary.com offers 2 definitions to the word. The first one, which is a more scientific and probably traditional definition, is characterized by slowness or limitation in intellectual understanding. And this goes hand in hand with the mental diseases, Down syndrome, or autism. But the second definition they offer is how it is probably more commonly used today, especially with teens or kids, and that's stupid or foolish. And the problem with that is that it's equating being stupid or foolish to a mental disease. And that's an issue because no one would ever make fun of someone with cancer, or make fun of someone with a physical disease. But for some reason, a mental disease like autism or Down syndrome is seen in a different light and is seen as okay to be made fun of. The rword.org says it lists many reasons why the word retard is offensive and should not be used, but just some of these are that it spreads hurt, it's offensive, and it's incorrect. Because if you group all special needs people into the word retard, it doesn't take into account that there's different diseases that they suffer, like I said, autism or Down syndrome, and many more, actually. And one of the most frustrating things about the word is that there are many different words you can use instead that aren't as offensive or as harmful, like ignorant, stupid, foolish. Although you should never say they're still mean, they're a lot less, they're a lot more vague in general and aren't as offensive to a certain group of people. The next word I want to talk about is gay. And as most people know, gay was originally known as like merry or joyful, but in the 1950s actually it kind of transformed into slang for homosexual males. And the biggest reason I want to talk about this is because it is actually one of the most common school insults. And according to BBC News, Actually, 83% of teachers stated that they hear it regularly, which is higher than the next highest, which is the B word, with 59%. So that's a much higher increase, and it shows just how popular it is. And here's a promotion I found during Anti-Bullying Week that used statistics to show why gay was a bad word. And 98% of people, of lesbian, gay, and bisexual young people, hear phrases like "you're so gay" in school, and that can give them a bad feeling because it makes them feel like they're wrong or they're worse than anyone else. And 84% feel that this hurts them, but only 10% say that staff intervenes when they hear it. And this shows that it's actually an accepted word in society, and that it is not treated the same as swear words like those 7 we saw earlier. So next word I want to talk about is thug. And this is a little different than the other two because it might not be your normal like schoolyard insult, but it fits the mold because it's a word that has transformed slowly from what it originally meant into something that is offensive and wrong today. So the definition from Merriam-Webster of thug is a brutal ruffian or assassin, and it can be traced back to the Hindi word meaning a cheat or a swindler. It also became popular with Tupac, the famous rapper, because he had the Thug Life tattoo across his belly, and he sang the song. And it's been theorized that it was an acronym, actually, that he created, but it's not proven. That meant they hate you give little infants F's everyone. And this shows that he embraced the role of being a thug, and he thought that how he was treated as he grew up gave him like the ability to treat people badly older on. But many times when the word is used, it's not used in this context. So here's an example of a cartoon I found, and it compares 3 different people, and they've all had 3 different people's portrayals in the media. And first is Justin Bieber, so everyone knows he's had a troubled past as he grew up, and he's made some bad mistakes. But instead of being called like a thug or anything else, he was called like a misguided young man. And then a congressman who threatened a patron with a gun, and he's not put into a group or an offensive name. It's just he's behaved inappropriately. And then Richard Sherman, I'm sure anyone who watches football remembers, he came off aggressively in a post-game interview, and he was pretty much attacked by news media and sports broadcasters for it. And this just shows that, and he actually went out and said that he believes it's because thug is synonymous with the N-word. And this shows that he thought that people used it as kind of a code word, and that people were allowed to say it, even though it was just as offensive to him as the N-word. Another example of this comes in from the Baltimore Freddie Gray trials, and when the cops were acquitted and there was riots, and the mayor of Baltimore called the rioters thugs, even though that doesn't really fit the natural definition of the word. They weren't committing violent crimes, they weren't killing people. So when he said this, there was a lot of backlash from especially the famous community. An example of this was Slug, the musician and the singer on The Tonight Show. He actually tweeted out that thugs equals the N-word. He said the N-word, I said. He said hashtag know the code. So this just shows that people are really getting fed up with the use of the word, and that how it's usually only used for African American people, and it's pretty offensive. So how can we change? I think the biggest thing people need to focus on is that there are many words in the English language that you can use to convey your point, and instead of getting stuck up on a word that might be traditional or you might be used to, you can easily change your vocab. Like I said, in elementary school, I used the word retard a lot, but I kind of made a commitment to stop, and although it kind of slips sometimes, I'm much more likely to use a word like stupid or foolish instead now. Also, I think people can sometimes be stubborn with their word usage. If it offends somebody, it's much easier just to move on than to be like protective of your right to use a word. And there's no reason to offend somebody for no reason if you can say something else that isn't as offensive. So overall, I thought this was a great way to look at it. One kind word can change someone's entire day, but as we've seen, that negative words, those 3 and many more, can have a terrible effect on people's day and really hurt them and cause emotional distress. So I think if we can move on from these new age swear words and understand the importance and power of our words and word choice, that we can live in a better society and live a happy life.